Hi, guys. I am so glad to be back. I'm going to be having guests every week, and I couldn't kick it off unless I had Vannessa on.
Oh,
Vannessa, she's one of my favorite people, and she's also my coach on my business, and I'm just so excited to have her on. Hi, Vannessa. How are you?
I'm good, Debbie. Thank you so much for having me here on this collaboration with you. I know
Yes.
that you and I have so much fun when we're not live. So can we imagine how things are going to be when now that we're live in a video recording?
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. And one of the topics that I always get asked about, and I'm like, it's not my genre, so I don't really talk about it, is side hustles. So like
Yeah.
so many people come to me and they're like, I just feel like I'm living paycheck to paycheck, or like I want to have an influx of cash. And so like I can handle the cash part and the budget and
Mhm.
getting their finances right. But when they want to make extra money, I'm like, you're the one to talk to. So I'm so excited to have you on. So Vanessa's going to talk to you today about tips to be able to launch your side hustle with personal branding. And again, I have my first question like ready for you right now. Like I know
Yeah.
exactly what
Go
anyone
for it.
that's watching, my YouTube viewers, my wonderful subscribers, they'll be like, what's a personal brand?
Yeah, this is such a great topic. I've never talked about side hustles before, but we all start as a side hustle.
Mhm,
And I know
mhm,
for me, like coaching was something that I wanted to do, but for such a long time, I couldn't do it full time.
mhm,
Um, and so I remember like working my 9 to 5 and just dreaming of like one day owning my own coaching business. And then did the side hustle thing for a couple of years
mhm,
before I felt confident enough to just go full time. So to be having this conversation with you, I feel is so fun because if I can go back to old Vannessa, like the Vannessa that was daydreaming about having her own business,
yeah.
um, yeah, the thing I didn't know back then was
Mhm,
to focus on a brand. And so to be able to like be here 4 years later and to be sharing about personal branding is just so exciting. I feel like that's something that I just didn't understand back then.
mhm,
So, personal branding, and if anyone's listening today who really wants to start a business or start a side hustle or doesn't even know what they want to sell, but they know they eventually want to start a business,
yes.
you all three of you guys should start with a brand. So, a personal brand, it's a very simple thing. It's
Mhm,
three very easy questions to answer. And
okay.
that is who are you? What do you offer? And who do you offer it for? So isn't that simple, right?
I like you make that's one of the things I love about you is you make things so easy. Like I can imagine someone that wants to start a side hustle. And actually I know a few people who are my subscribers who tell me that they want to start a side hustle, but they have
Yes.
no idea what to do. And you're
Mhm.
like, it's easy. It's one, two, three.
It's the one, two, three.
You need
Yes,
Vanessa.
yes,
Vanessa simplifies everything. Anytime you have any kind of like, spin out about what to do, like you overcomplicate things, you always make things so easy. I love that about you.
oh, thank you, Debbie. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that the reason why it's so important to simplify things is because, as a those people who are thinking about a side hustle, they're most likely entrepreneurs at heart
Yeah.
and they might not even know it, but they're daydreaming. Because I know that's where I was. I was always daydreaming of setting my own hours and working with my own clients.
Mhm.
And in my day job, that's not what I had. I didn't get to do that. I was an office manager for a pharmaceutical company and I got to do many, many roles, but I didn't get to like work with people one on one like I get to do now. So I think that it's important for you to understand like who you are as a person.
Mhm.
And if let's say for example, you were sitting in your cubicle and you're like, you know what, I want to start a side hustle. Like I really need to make some extra cash. I need to have like a good, 500 to $1,000 a month doing something I enjoy
Mhm.
and really just having that income come in where I'm not overworking, like it's something I can actually manage. The first thing I would ask you really is to understand who you are. Like, what is something that you really enjoy doing that you know would be beneficial to someone?
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say you love organizing your closet. Like you get a kick out of buying those little boxes from, I don't know, the Container Store or Amazon. And
Mhm.
you love organizing things and putting them in color, I don't know, color coordinating. I'm not an organization person, so I don't really know. But let's say
I
that's
love those shows though. I love those shows though. You're talking to like my
yeah,
Netflix
yeah. The
mind right
Marie
now.
Kondo. Are you a Marie Kondo at heart, right? And let's say you're like trying to get all of these things in order, like you just love it. Like you would just love to just walk into a messy closet and put it in order. Like you could legit start a personal brand and a business around that.
Okay.
So like if I was getting started and I wanted to do something like that, I would probably start off by organizing and creating my own way of doing that and kind of like your own formula, your own secret formula for
Mhm.
organizing your own closet. And I would begin creating a brand around that.
Okay.
And then from there, I would probably reach out to 10 people and ask them, can I organize your closet for you for content to put on social media? Because I'm starting an organization brand. And it could be that simple. Who are you? What are you passionate about? What can you offer? Right. And then who would you offer it for? Obviously, you wouldn't offer it to somebody like living in my apartment because I live in New York and my closet's tiny. I can't even organize it because it's so small. But your ideal client would be someone who has a pretty good sized closet and really struggles keeping it organized.
Okay. You know,
Right?
that's one
So
of the
that's
things that
where you would start in personal branding. Yeah.
yeah, one of the things that you just said, like, jumped out at me is, like, when you're passionate about something, like, it doesn't feel like work, you
Mm.
know? Like, to
Mhm.
me, it's like when like, coaching my clients doesn't feel like work. Like, you know, like, putting my heart and soul into, like, my business does not feel like work at all. And sometimes I'm up late, and the next day I'm, like, energized to do it again because it doesn't feel like work because it's something I enjoy. You know, it's and
Yeah.
when you find that passion, which you help people do, like I just if you guys have a fire in you and you want to do something and you have no idea where to start, Vannessa is your girl. You're so inviting. It's like
Aw.
I've had coaches before and I've loved working with them, but there is something about you that it's like you're working with your best friend. That there's
Aw.
no way of
That's how
saying
I
it.
feel about working with you. You're
Oh,
so passionate about what you do. I think that you just make it so much easier for me to help guide you
oh.
into making it profitable, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. No, because sometimes when like for me, like I didn't like I knew what I wanted to say
Mm,
to like, you know, pique the interest of someone who really wants to start managing their money. But
yeah.
there's a difference between knowing what you want to say and being able to say it in a way that you actually like strike the heart
Mhm.
of who actually is like, yes, I want to work with her, you know?
Yes.
And you really helped me like articulate my message when it came to especially content, which sometimes content is like the elephant in the room, you
Yeah.
know? And I know you do so much more than just content. But
Yeah.
if you're stuck and you're like, I don't know how to start, how do I even create content? Like, how do I start like
Yes.
my branding? She's your girl. Like I can't say it enough. I'll like shout it from the rooftops, honestly. Like I would just everybody and anyone who has a passion needs to reach out to you, honestly.
Thank you so much, Debbie. No, I think it's so important that like once you figure out who you are, like what you're passionate about and what you can create a business around, and like even if you don't even know that, like I could help you with that.
Yeah.
But I think it's just being able to communicate that into the world. Like having a personal brand, I always think is your heart message into
Mhm.
the world. And
Mhm.
once you put that message into the world, you will eventually start to bring in people who are so attracted to that message and they would want to like get to know you and build a relationship with you. And
Okay.
from there you can start your side hustle.
Mhm.
I know that it sounds so easy, but literally it's that easy. I think sometimes we just overcomplicate it, but a personal brand simplifies that
Mhm.
entire desire in your heart to start a side hustle.
I think it's human nature. Like I talk about it in my content also. Like it's human nature. Like when you want to do something, but you don't know where to start,
Yes, yes.
procrastinate. And then later on, it's like that dream you put up on that shelf, whether it's
Mhm.
managing your money or starting your new business. It's like one day I'll get to that. It's like, no, do it now because
Oh,
it can be
now.
simple. It can be so simple.
Yes, and content can be so fun. Like, I
Oh,
know for that type of business that I just described, if you're listening to that, you're like, I could totally do that. Or I remember on TikTok, I saw a business where somebody was literally just throwing paint on a canvas, and they created an entire side hustle around that. And it's
wow.
like once you get your brand down,
Mhm.
there's endless content to create that
Yeah.
is so simple because it's very like tailored and aligned to your message, then it feels from your heart. You just get excited to create the content.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
from there, you're just getting sales, or you're booking clients, or you're bringing in people into your space. Then it's just such a beautiful thing.
And it opens up like a part, like, I mean, at least for me, I can speak personally. Like once I started working with you, it's like you opened up that part of my brain because I never thought I was creative, especially with content.
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, thank you. Like the YouTube part of me is like, oh, here tips all day. I can produce content all day, but there's a difference between that and like the Instagram world, which is where you
Mm,
live and I live mostly.
yeah.
And it's like, and you opened up that part where it's like it doesn't have to be hard. And then
Yeah.
once I felt like in my own skin about like actually producing Instagram content, like
Yeah.
things just took off. They just took off. And it was just like, and I'm like, it was you who helped me propel to that level. So
Um, I
definitely.
love it. I love helping you with your message, by the way, because it's
Thank
just so
you.
much fun. I know what you do. You have such a big heart for what you do. And there's just like, to me, it's just an honor to be able to help you get that out there.
Oh, you're so sweet. It's an honor to have you on my channel. I've been wanting this. Like I like manifested this like, like since
I
like the
know. I
beginning of
told
the year.
myself
I'm
this
like,
year, I want to get on
"Mm,
more. I want to be featured more, like, and really
I
talk
love
about
you."
branding more because I don't feel like people really understand what it is. And
Yes.
so, thank you so much for having me on this
You're welcome.
episode. I'm so
Oh,
excited. I can't wait to like show my kids because they're like,
oh.
Mom, you're gonna be on YouTube. I'm like, yes.
No, absolutely. So I don't want to forget my questions here. So how do you actually start like a personal brand? So now you've explained like what it is, but I mean, like, is there anything that you need to bring to the table, like when they want to come work with you? Is there anything that, like, I imagine that someone that doesn't know what to do,
Yeah.
that when they reach out to you, they have to have something like in their mind that they know they're passionate about, right? Like, what
Yeah.
would you want them to bring to you so that you can turn it into the masterpiece that is a business?
Yeah, I think what it is, and I always tell my clients, it doesn't even matter if they have a business or not. It's really going to start with your own personal story. So that's usually where I start. So if you absolutely don't know what you're really good at
Okay.
or what you're passionate and want to create a side hustle around,
Mhm.
just come with your story and we'll have a conversation. And from there, we can be able to pin down what that personal brand will be.
Okay.
And then you can start to think of ideas of how to monetize your content and putting your brand out there. So I think that's the first step. That
Now,
makes yeah.
it does make sense. Like I like sometimes when I have guests on, like I know like what my guests like my people watching like what their next question's going to be.
Yeah.
How deep, like when it comes to your personal story, like
Yeah.
what about people that want to create a business but they're kind of like reserved about like their own like like personal story. Like for me, like I was an open book and that's how I started my business
Yeah. I think
on
that's
YouTube.
super important to know. Like a lot of clients who struggle with being a little bit of an open book, they're going to be the ones that are going to have a harder time building a personal brand because a personal brand is personal to you.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's so important, you guys, and why those of you who are like hesitant to go there, remember that your personal brand story is what's going to deeply connect with someone. It's what
Mhm.
makes you authentic and unique. It's what
Mhm.
stands out.
Yeah.
And so we can create content that isn't about us and it doesn't really showcase our personal story, but
Mhm.
it's not going to connect like Debbie's story when she shares about how she got out of $48,000 worth of debt.
Mhm.
That's going to connect deeply with somebody who's in this situation right now where they want to get out of debt.
Mhm.
And so that's why it's so important to be able to like understand your story. You don't have to share everything about your story.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know my whole life story,
Yeah.
right? But the things that I want to share that I feel is valuable to someone and I can connect with them and it's so authentic, that's
Mhm.
what I can create a brand around. And then
Yeah.
from here, then you can start to figure out what is it that you want to offer. I
Mhm.
offer coaching. I also have a podcast. And
Yeah.
so there's different ways that you can make money by sharing what you love.
Oh, and her podcast is amazing. Like, and I was
Yeah,
honored to
she's
be a
on the
guest
podcast
twice now.
twice.
Or like, and I featured it on my community page. But if you guys aren't following her, it's Less Hustle, a More
More
Fun
faith.
podcast, and it's
And I'm now on iTunes, by the way.
yes,
Yay!
yes. I'm like, as soon as we're done, I'm gonna go and subscribe to your iTunes. I'm already watching you on
Thank you.
Spotify. Yes, but it's another level of you. You know what I mean? It's another level of you, and it really is like you're so personal on that podcast as well. Like I just have to give it a plug because it's one of the most vulnerable podcasts like I've ever heard. And I go for walks and I listen to you, and sometimes I get emotional because I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're touching my soul. Like you're so
Oh,
it's not a business that you have. Like you were born for this. Like, and I just have to say it, like you were born to help people find their voice. And there's so many people like how I used to be where I've shared it before. Like I felt like there was a piece of me that was missing. Like
yeah.
as I paid off my debt and I am in a wonderful marriage and I have 3 beautiful kids and anyone else would be like, you have a job, you have, you have, you're helping people on YouTube, like you should be fulfilled. But there
Yeah.
was a little piece of me, and I never
Mhm.
noticed what it was until I started coaching, and I
Yeah.
started realizing how I'm helping to change people's lives because money touches everything, and helping them get out of debt. And that voice that I found that took me a while because my first YouTube
Mhm.
video, I was so far back. I was talking about meal planning and I was like in a shell. It was I left it on there because I'm like, you know what? For anyone
We
else who's
all
ever
start
seen
that
this
way.
guy, it was horrible. It was horrible. And it had good content, but it was horrible. So but it was little by little I found my voice and seeing how you help your clients and how much you're passionate about it and then the vulnerability on the podcast, I'm like, that's why I was like, you have to be my first guest on this series. You really do.
Thank
Um,
you so, so much. No, I think it's the most important thing that we do in our life is
mm,
to have a voice and to really give a voice to others.
yeah.
I think it's such an important thing. That's why I love branding so much because
Mhm,
for such a long time, I didn't feel like I had a voice either. I always felt like no one cared. Like, oh, she's just the office manager here and she's going to fetch the coffee every morning. Like, I
mhm,
didn't feel like I had any place that I belonged
yeah,
until I found my voice,
yeah.
until I started sharing my stories. That's why it's such an important piece of branding.
Mhm. And my business is mine. It's
Right.
like my 9 to 5 helps to provide for my family. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, like everything
Yeah.
else. But my business filled that void in me,
Mm. It's a
and it
sense of purpose.
yes, and it's empowering to have that finally, and I don't
Mm.
and I don't think that there's an age at all where you stop wanting more,
No.
you know?
No. Yeah.
No. Yeah, so to me it's like, oh, I'm again, I manifested you being here. I really did. So so I want to talk about your signature program, which is how I started with you in the first place. So tell us
Yes.
about SBA.
Yes, so SBA is known as Social Breakthrough Accelerator, and it's really just helping you define your brand, your voice, like helping you figure out who are you? Who are you in the marketplace? So if you've already started a business, you would still be a perfect fit for the program. If you want to start a business, we could definitely help you start to build out your brand. It's who you are, what you offer. So, we're going to talk about what your product is and what that looks like. How do we define that and make it unique in your industry? And
Mhm,
really, how to talk about it, like how to communicate your brand into the world. If you want to start a podcast, if you want to start a YouTube, if you want to get on TikTok or Instagram, we're going to get you lined up for getting that putting that message out there in the social media world. But even if you have not even started that, this is a great place to start. If I were to go back to the beginning of my business, I would have started at building a personal brand because that's what's going to actually connect you with real people. And from there, you're going to have endless content. You're going to be able to make sales. And then maybe one day your side hustle turns into a full time business.
mhm. And
So
I mean,
that's what SBA is. It's an 8-week one-on-one program.
and it's amazing and it's amazing and also she also has a community like it's not enough that she has SBA and it's not enough that she's a one-on-one money coach. I'm not sorry, money coach, one-on-one branding coach as well, but and a podcast, but she also has the One Heart community.
Yes.
I love for you to tell people about that because I'm proud to be a member of it and honestly it's just it really once you have your business, like it
Right.
really helps. It helps so much to be so encouraged. So I'm not going to spoil it. When you tell us
Yes,
what
the
our
One
community
Heart
is.
community is such a beautiful gem, you guys, because I created this just because we launched the podcast. And after the podcast, we had a party, and everyone was like, I don't want to end this conversation. And so I was like, I don't either. I want to connect with other leaders who are doing amazing things in this world, who are purpose driven.
Yeah.
So we started an Instagram private community where we talk about our brands, we talk about the things we're working on, even personal stuff,
Yeah.
because it can sometimes be lonely when you start a business. Those of you who
Yes.
haven't started yet, you'll see. But
Mhm.
those of you who have been in the game for a minute, you know that it can sometimes feel lonely. Sometimes it feels like you're doing so much and you don't know like really like how it's going to turn out. Like it's so much faith that
Mhm.
goes involved into having your own business. And it's just a beautiful thing to be able to communicate that with other people who are there to encourage and uplift you throughout your entire journey.
Yes.
So that's what One Heart Community is all about.
Mhm. And we were lucky enough, some of the members, to be a part of your last podcast, and I was one of them.
Yes.
So much fun. That
Oh my God,
party was
that was
like,
such a good episode. Oh,
oh, I loved it. It's so empowering again. And yes, being an entrepreneur can feel lonely sometimes. So you even have that aspect of it as well. Like you've thought of
yeah.
everything because you genuinely care. And that's something that comes through when you coach me. Like it comes
Oh,
through. Anytime I have a question, I have an answer from you like that. I'm like,
I
girl,
know.
does she
I
sleep?
love it.
Does she
I'm like,
sleep?
ask more questions.
Sometimes I'm about to go to sleep and I have a thought that pops in. I was like, I would love to be able to do this, which you encouraged me to do my first master class.
Yes.
And it's just like
I
you push
can't
me
wait
to
till you
it.
do your first master class.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna talk all about how credit card interest and is costing you thousands. And I go into credit card fraud and how to pay off credit cards, and it's just jam
I
packed.
got you
You
guys who
push
are
me.
listening to this. I got to see that master class and it was mind blowing. There was
Thank
so
you.
much that I did not know. I walked away from that master class kind of mad at credit cards and kind of like on fire for like creating change around this. Like I'm so excited about this new
Yeah,
master class that you're about to put out. It's
yeah,
such a blessing.
and it's because of your encouragement to do it, because you had me do it. You're like, you know what? I want you to practice with the One Heart community. And I
Yeah.
did. And then from there, you were like, okay, like you're ready. You need to do this. And again, it's your coaching and your encouragement that makes me do things that I'm not 100% comfortable with. But then I
Yeah.
get so excited about it. It's like, again,
I'm
it
like,
just
you're
speaks to
gonna do
you.
it, Debbie. You're ready.
Thank you. I was like, okay.
Those of you who are interested in joining SBA, that's what you can expect. I am going to push you a little bit, but I think it's going to be good. It's going to be
Yes.
good for you to stretch.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I do have one more question for you, but
Yes.
I want to just let everyone know that I have the link to book a 15-minute call with Vannessa, and it's down below. And if you are on the fence of doing it, I'm telling you, it's like you get a friend by your side, encouraging you, pushing you, so
Yes.
that you get to be successful with your side hustle. And then maybe it turns into a full-time business. Like how
Yes.
amazing would that be?
Yes.
Absolutely. So the link is down below. And again, thank you so much for being here. I have one more question. I want to ask all my guests that I have on the same question, because I feel like when you ask the same question, you get to know you on a different level.
Yes.
If anyone that's watching, and if you could give them one piece of advice, like what would it be?
Ah, okay. I think that if I could give you one piece of advice, no matter who you are listening to this episode,
Mhm.
everyone has a story to tell.
Yes.
And when you start to share your story, a story, your story, the story, whatever story it is an invitation to have deep connection with other people.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is the most important thing here as like a purpose here on earth is to have connections with others.
Mhm.
It's in our DNA. We're
Yeah.
here to have fellowship and to build community. And I
Mhm.
feel like it's your story that gets people to feel heard and seen and understood like never before.
Yeah.
And it's such a healing thing too. So I am just that would be my biggest piece of advice is learn how to tell your own story.
Mhm. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. the first time that I went really deep in my personal story, like I got emotional. I've gotten emotional on YouTube like twice, like 3 times on Instagram, and it's just something that because
Yeah,
I want people to know like I've been there.
yeah, yeah,
And those pieces of content, which again, I didn't do it for the content, I wanted to share.
yeah.
Those are the ones that have resonated so much, and I've gotten to know so many amazing people, and I've gotten clients from those pieces of content as well because it connected to them.
Yes.
There's something about when you reach someone on a personal level, like
Mm,
something deep inside, and a personal story, as I've learned from you,
yes.
is something that can really just change everything. And
Yeah.
that was something that you really focused on SBA. And I remember the first time that I started learning it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. And I remember I just opened up with one small topic on Instagram, and next thing you
Yeah.
know, I'm emotional, but it's just
Aw,
like you're giving a piece of you
yes.
when you do that. You really are. You're sharing and you're
It's really
vulnerable.
adding so much purpose to what you're already doing. Like, it's such a beautiful thing to be vulnerable.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ah, I'm so glad you're on. So
Thank
again,
you so much for having me.
oh,
I love it. I'm official. I'm an official YouTuber.
yes, I have to have you back, and I have to have you back again.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Oh my goodness. So again, if you guys want to talk to Vannessa, the link to book a call with her is down below. And I encourage you to do it. Honestly, she can change the game for you. So
Yay.
thanks so
Thank
much
you
again,
so
Vannessa,
much.
for being on.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.